Hi, many thanks for your interest in my Facebook timeline cover on balloon style, a Photoshop item which is on sale at Graphic River. This is a fun little file to present yourself on Facebook, colorful, fully customizable. I'll explain the main features here and how to get the most out of this. Once you open the file, you see immediately there's 5 main regions here you can play around with. At the very top we have the text in these little colorful boxes, which you can add more text, less text. You can very easily edit the colors by just double clicking here on the color icon and choosing anything that may suit you best. Lighter colors work really well here because the opacity is set to 50%. It's slightly transparent, and we're going for this light pastel look here. So lighter color spectrum works best, but anything goes, of course. At the very bottom, we have the backgrounds. I included 4 backgrounds. Obviously, balloon style. Skies work great, but bokeh, abstract backgrounds, wallpapers, anything really goes. Beaches, the sea, whatever, buildings, architecture, anything really goes. Whatever you like best. 4 included with different moods. Here's an autumn mood. This is a really nice one. Or obviously the default blue sky. The main area is taken up by the balloons and all the polaroid frames where you can place your image, add a little text if you like, and show, hide balloons, change colors of the balloons, slap artwork on the balloons. Anything goes here to customize this to your own taste. I have set this up so that there are basically 3 rows of balloons. Row 1, which is the nearest with the biggest, row 2, and row 3 with the smallest further in the distance. It's really up to you how many balloons you want to use. You can duplicate these and create as many as you like and fill the whole thing up, or just use 3 or 4 to have a little timeline going on there. Whatever your taste. This is how I set it up by default. Every balloon and every Polaroid frame are smart objects, so to edit these, really the only thing you have to do is to double click those and place your own content. I will run a very quick demonstration here on how this works. So let's just remove some of the clutter here and concentrate on what's at hand here. 4 balloons, a few Polaroid images. So you open up the row 1 and you see you have the structure, which is always a balloon orange, red, blue, and a set of Polaroids. Let's just hide this one here. And the Polaroid, the balloon, you can see immediately is a smart object. So let's take the red balloon here on the left here, and simply double click the smart object icon, and you will see here a new file opens with just the balloon. We have the balloon folder, and right here you can change the colors of the balloon by just choosing anything you may like. Again, softer colors work better here. And you can place any artwork or any letters or anything. You will see here I've got some default text on this. Simply save and close, and you can see we've changed the color and we've changed the text on the balloon. If you want to add your own, edit that text or add your own artwork or whatever you want to place on that balloon, simply double click again the smart object to open the balloon and open the content smart object inside the balloon file, which again opens another file. And you see here this is simply some text. You can edit that, make it 1984, whatever you like best. Save that, close that file. You can see here actually it's mirrored because in the main Facebook file I have flipped those balloons so that the highlights show on the left here and not on the right of the balloon, which just for some reason seemed to make more sense to me. So flip the balloons. That means when you edit the smart object, you actually see a flipped content on there. But once you double click to edit it, it's actually the right direction. So simply save that smart object again, close it, and you can see 1984 appears on the balloon. Want to place anything else in that smart object? Again, open the balloon, open the smart object inside the balloon, create a new layer and name it whatever you want to name it. Let's just hide that text away or delete that text away, and then choose anything really. I've got my sample artwork here, which I opened up earlier. So I can just drag this across. I've got it open here in another window. Drag this across, resize it so it fits nicely into the center of the smart object. Something like this. Save and close, and you see it here all over the balloon. Save and close, and you see the green balloon with the new artwork on top. You can do this for any balloon, leave them plain, put text on it, put artwork on it, put images on it, anything you may like. So pretty versatile here and fun to play around with. Then the next editable item are the Polaroids. You see here each Polaroid actually has its own little folder, neatly organized. And there are two things you can edit. You can edit your image and you can edit the text. Obviously text very easy. Just use your text tool and type anything you may wish. And there you go, perfectly on there, or just leave text off or whatever. The image is also a smart object, so you can just double click that and drop your own artwork into this. This is, if you open the Polaroid, in the photo section of the Polaroid, I've separated these by frame and photo. You can see this here, how the frame goes, so it's easier to use for you. Double click the Your Picture Here smart object, which is at the moment you just see this sample text and sample background. Open up any picture you may have in your collection. I've already opened one here, so let me just drag that across. We'll resize it. Wow, that's huge. Nice resolution on there. Let's just resize it just for test purposes here, so it more or less fits into this square Polaroid frame. There we go. Save this and close it, and there you have it on your Polaroid. You now see the image you've placed there. One thing you may or may not want to play around with is a little extra detail I have on the Polaroids here. You can see this in this, you see it more clearly on the darker background. This is a little reflection glare type of effect I've added just for a little detail. When you choose brighter photos, this kind of disappears into the photo, which may be just fine. But if you want to edit it, you have the two layers here at the top of each photo folder, which is called glare, and the gradient fill of the glare. And you can see these are pretty low opacity. The glare itself is the entire rectangle here, and the gradient fill is the little round highlight shape you see inside the glare. So if we do that for this photo here, so it becomes a little more visible, let's just give it 40% fill, and you can see how it brightens up there, and then give it 50% opacity, and you can see the whole thing now is slightly more visible. So you've got this little glossy reflection on your Polaroid. Now if you want to add more Polaroids or swing them around, move them across the screen, that's really easy to do. You can see here, for example, I've got two Polaroids, one on top of each other. Here's the second one behind it. This is really easy to do. All you have to do is right click on the folder, duplicate group, give it a new name, Polaroid 1C. Click on OK, and you've got your new Polaroid here, and then Control T, which is the shortcut for transform, and here you can spin it around a little, move it around, place it wherever you like, whichever way you like, and you can add as many as you like. Make sure to align here the knot nicely with the cord of the balloon. There's actually a little trick here to make this seamless and fade in perfectly by opening up the knot layer we have here inside the frame section of the Polaroid, and let's just zoom in here so you can see there's a little gray shade which should go exactly in line with the gray shading of the chord. So you simply double click that for layer effect. The shade comes from the bevel and emboss, and what we do here is simply we change the angle around a little. So here we go, so it nicely angles exactly the same way and fades into the chord perfectly. That's just a little detail. It'll probably be so small on your timeline cover that you do not see this, but for perfection's sake, you may want to just wiggle it around a little. Okay, let's zoom out, and the same thing actually also goes for the balloons. Just back to the default view here. The balloons themselves are actually mock-ups, full-blown standalone mock-ups. I have a highly detailed version of a high-res balloon mock-up also for sale on Graphic River. This is a less detailed and less complex version just for the use of this timeline cover. Let's have a quick look here. The blue balloon, this one. If you double click it, you will see the balloon shape, the chord, and you will see that it has here a bunch of adjustments, and if you really want to, it's not really necessary, but if you want to play around with it, you can play around with it. There are shadow layers and highlight layers, which you see have little opacity here. You can see how the shadow becomes more present or less present if you slide the opacity slider, and you can just play around with that if you really want to optimize depending on what sort of artwork or text or whatever you place on those balloons. Let's just not save this time. So I hope you enjoy this file. I hope you find it useful, and I hope you found this video helps you put your images and your artwork on the balloons quickly without lots of fuzz. And thanks for watching, and looking forward to seeing you again in the next video.